everyone, from a little baby to 100 years old, is after only and only one thing. And that thing is happiness. However, there is a problem. The problem is that we face obstacles and challenges in our life. And those obstacles and those challenges are a source of suffering and pain and negative emotions. This deter a lot of us from pursuing the path that we want to pursue. This fear of adversity is preventing us from living a fulfilled life. Do we have a solution? Yes, we do. We have a tool, a weapon against adversity, against challenges. And that is resilience. Resilience gives us this ability to fight adversity, to fight challenges, and pursue the path we want to pursue. Before I talk about resilience, before I discuss the strategies and tactics of resilience, I think it's important that we understand the basic phenomenon first. Particularly, we need to understand emotions. Where are they coming from? What's the purpose of emotions? In order to understand emotions, we need to understand what's the purpose of our brain. What is this thing doing in our skull? That's very, very important for us to understand. Understand, you have a brain in your skull focused only and only on two things: survival and passing on the gene. That was the job it evolved, created, designed for. It is focused, it is obsessed with these two objectives: survival and passing on the gene. Your brain evolved different functions to make sure that these paramount objectives are fulfilled. So imagine a platform on which these two pillars are standing. That platform consists of drives and motivation and instincts. These are the function the brain evolved. Initially, we had some basic functions like eating and sleeping and sex, just basic survival and passing on the gene or reproduction functions. However, because the environment is complex, because we humans in particular, we became social beings, that required the evolution of more complex motivations and desires and drives. For example, in the case of us human beings, we have this desire for status, which is attached to survival and reproduction. We have this desire to be loved, this desire to be liked, this desire to socialize, this desire to form a group, a desire to make money, the drive to build houses and big houses. All those drives evolved to fulfill these two objectives. They can be attached to those two pillars. Now, the brain needed to find out if these objectives are met or not. So it evolved a mechanism, a language called emotions. Emotions are the language of the brain. Through emotions, the brain is talking to you. The brain is telling you either things are heading in the right direction for these drives and instincts, or things are not heading in the right direction for these drives and instincts. If things are heading in the right direction for these drives and instincts, then positive emotions are engaged. If things are not heading in the right direction for these objectives, then negative emotions are engaged. Through this engagement of negative and positive emotions, your brain is talking to you, it's communicating to you. Do this, don't, back off. It's like a car, you're driving a car, As long as you are on the straight path, positive emotions will be engaged, because the straight path is the path where the objectives will be fulfilled. But if you veer off from the straight path, then negative emotions will be engaged. Back off, back on the straight road. That is all the brain is trying to do. Now, because there's so much complexity in the environment, your brain needed to be efficient. It is small. It needed to be small. You can't carry a huge, gigantic thing on your head. It needs to be small. Smallness required efficiency. So this whole language of emotions is confined to two words: pleasure and pain. Pleasure and pain. All positive emotions are on the gradient of pleasure. All negative emotions are on the gradient of pain. So the brain talks to you in pleasure and pain, in pleasure and pain, to let you know either things are heading in the right direction or things are not heading in the right direction. For us, humans, we are obsessed with these two, pleasure and pain, pleasure and pain. Since day one, since we became conscious of them. What is it? What is pleasure? What is pain? What are the things that brings me pleasure? What are the things that bring me pain? How can I maximize my pleasure? How can I minimize my pain? That has been the overriding obsession of humanity. And we evolved systems, political systems, economic systems, wisdom, culture, all for one thing. How can we maximize our pleasure and how can we minimize our pain? That's been the main objective. In the context of happiness, two philosophical schools are quite dominant. One is the school of hedonism, and one is the school of eudaimonia. Now, these are Greek words. Hedonism is a philosophy of simple pleasures. Eudaimonia means a fulfilled life. That's all it means, this word. So both these philosophical schools originated from Greece, and the foundation of hedonism is based on simple pleasures of life. Simple pleasures of life. Not indulging in greed or power. Just the simple pleasure of life. So the philosopher who is the poster boy of hedonism was called Epicurus, and he lived a simple life with a bunch of friends. They ate together, they cooked together, they believed in sort of like a human bonding and enjoying the simple pleasures of like simple food, simple clothing, and nothing more than that. But this philosophy has been hijacked and corrupted according to the school of eudaimonia. They think that now this is a wrong path. Because now that blind pursuit of pleasure, that blind pursuit of hedonic pleasures, like drug addiction or alcoholism or sex addiction, these are the path to depression and mental illness and a very unfulfilled life, according to the school of eudaimonia. They believe that the stimulus increase, but the pleasure does not increase. So a glass of wine, you have this much pleasure. Now you need 2 for this much pleasure. Then you need 3 for this much pleasure. So your happiness is not increasing, but the stimulus is increasing. They call it the hedonic treadmill. You're running. There is no destination. According to them, a fulfilled life is a life which is in the pursuit of higher objectives like family and justice and freedom, anything that is beyond you. That is a life which is a fulfilled life. That is when you reach the heights of happiness and the lowest point of unhappiness. That's good. That's their recipe for it. The main bone of contention between these two philosophies is the concept of suffering or adversity. So the school of hedonism, they are running away from suffering. They are running away from pain. They say, no. All I want is pleasure, pleasure, pleasure all the time. The school of eudaimonia, on the other hand, embrace challenges. They consider challenges a normal part of the pursuit of a fulfilled life. They see it as an essential element, a critical element which makes happiness possible. For them, there is no happiness without it. So they have systems or solutions of how to deal with the suffering rather than just avoiding suffering. Now, the question is, one, why do we need to suffer? And B, do we have the resources to deal with suffering? These are the critical questions. So let's deal with the first question, which is, why do we have obstacles? Why do we have challenges? Why do we have adversity? And why is there suffering? Okay, I'll go back to day one. According to evolutionary biology, on day one, life started with a tiny bacteria. Now, when that bacteria started life on planet Earth, the Earth was not very happy. It didn't welcome that bacteria. The Earth told the bacteria, "We don't here. I never invited you. Now that you're here, and if you want to thrive and if you want to flourish, don't expect anything from me. I won't change anything for you. I'm going to follow my cycle. I'm going to throw wind, I'm going to throw heat, and I'm going to throw cold. That's not something I'm going to change for you. If you can adapt, be my guest. Place is yours. But you need to adopt. I'm not doing anything for you." So on day one, the bacteria is faced with an adversity. Now, what does the bacteria do? It started to multiply. It started to multiply in a hope that it'll have more chances of survival this way. But when it started to multiply, something else happened. Competition started for scarce resources. So now, two adversities are looking at the bacteria. An inhospitable earth, competition. So, the next question is, what do we do now? If we are facing a formidable enemy, how do we deal with it? That was the question. That was the problem faced by our brain as it was evolving. And it wanted to deal with these two problems. Luckily for me and you, our brain evolved robust functions against these two enemies. Your brain is equipped with weapons against challenges. Deploying those weapons, using those weapons, is the secret of resilience. What are the neurobiological roots of those systems which enable us to fight these two enemies? which give us this capacity of resilience, so needed for a happy and fulfilling life. I hope that I equip you with enough knowledge and I give you enough tools so that you can embark on this journey of fulfillment.